But other than that, Jon Jones behind the scenes is not a guy that turns down fights.
Would you guarantee 100% to see that fight?
Yeah, I'll say 100%.
The long-awaited clash between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall is officially happening. UFC President Dana White has confirmed the blockbuster bout is set for 2025, setting the MMA world on fire with excitement. Touted as one of the biggest fights in UFC history, this matchup is already generating enormous buzz among fans, fighters, and pundits alike. As anticipation builds, it's clear this won't just be a title fight. It'll be a defining moment in the heavyweight division and a potential career milestone for both athletes. Jon Jones, widely regarded as the greatest fighter in MMA history, will finally return to defend his heavyweight title in what could be his last appearance in the octagon. At 37, Jones has flirted with the idea of retirement, and many believe this fight may serve as the final chapter of his legendary career. Known for his unmatched fight IQ, unorthodox striking, and devastating ground game, Jones has dominated every challenge thrown his way. But in Tom Aspinall, he faces an entirely new kind of threat. Aspinall is not just another contender, he's a new breed of heavyweight. With lightning-fast hands, sharp precision, and elite grappling, he presents a unique challenge Jones has yet to encounter. At 31, Aspinall is in his athletic prime, and many view him as the future of the division. For him, this isn't just about a belt, it's about legacy. Beating Jon Jones would instantly elevate him to superstardom and secure his place in MMA history. As excitement grows, so do the opinions and predictions. Fighters across the UFC are weighing in, offering insights into how they think the bout will play out. But none have caused as much stir as former world's strongest man, Eddie Hall. In a recent interview, Hall made a bold and controversial claim. If Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall were in the same room, Aspinall wouldn't stand a chance and would be the one to walk away. His comments lit a firestorm online, sparking heated debates across the MMA community. Some fans agreed, citing Jones's experience and track record, while others saw Hall's remarks as pure provocation, fueling the hype and raising the stakes even higher. Beyond the personal rivalry and the war of words, this fight has serious implications for the heavyweight landscape. With elite contenders like Sergey Pavlovich and Cyril Gane waiting in the wings, the outcome of Jones vs. Aspinall could reshape the title picture entirely. A Jones victory might lead to retirement and an open title. An Aspinall win could usher in a new era of heavyweight dominance. Regardless of the outcome, this matchup promises to be unforgettable, a true clash of eras, styles, and legacies. As the date approaches, one thing is certain. When Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall finally step into the octagon, the world will be watching.
Jones or Tom Aspinall. So if you don't know MMA world, sorry to bore you, but Tom Aspinall is UFC's #1 right now. Jon Jones is, he's seen as the best MMA fighter on the planet. Dana White's got a massive for him, says he's unbeatable. Honestly, I think if you put Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall in a room and said one man leaves, I think Tom Aspinall leaves that room. Genuinely do. I think, and I think Jon Jones, I can't badmouth the guy. He's got an amazing record, but he's definitely ducking Tom Aspinall, 100%. And I think he's even said he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall after his next fight. He's pretty much going to retire after this fight, so he's ducking Tom Aspinall. He can say what he wants, but actions speak louder than words.
Eddie Hall has never been one to shy away from bold opinions, and his recent comments about the upcoming Jon Jones vs. Tom Aspinall fight have added a whole new layer of drama to what is already being hailed as one of the most anticipated bouts in UFC history. While fans were still buzzing from his initial claim that Tom Aspinall wouldn't stand a chance if he found himself in the same room as Jones, Hall doubled down, this time questioning whether the fight will even happen at all. According to Hall, there's a very real possibility that Jon Jones might look for a way to avoid stepping into the octagon with Aspinall. He suggested that Jones, who is nearing the end of his storied career, could find a reason, whether strategic or circumstantial, to back out of the fight. While Hall didn't directly accuse Jones of ducking the challenge, the implication was clear. The reigning heavyweight champion may not be as eager to face the rising British star as fans hope. Hall's remarks have only intensified the buzz surrounding the matchup. For many fans, the idea that Jon Jones, a fighter often described as the most dominant and fearless competitor in MMA history, would avoid a challenge seems far-fetched, even insulting. Jones has spent over a decade dismantling the best the sport has to offer, and his willingness to move up to heavyweight and capture a title speaks volumes about his ambition and legacy. His supporters argue that if Jones didn't fear prime fighters like Daniel Cormier or Alexander Gustafsson, there's no reason to believe he'd shy away from Tom Aspinall. However, Hall's perspective has struck a chord with a different segment of the MMA audience, those who believe the time might be right for the torch to be passed. They point to Jones's age, his long layoffs, and the significant threat Aspinall presents as reasons why he might hesitate. Aspinall is younger, faster, and arguably one of the most well-rounded heavyweights the division has seen in years. For some, Hall is simply saying out loud what others are thinking quietly, that Jon Jones may not be fully committed to facing a fighter of Aspinall's caliber this late in his career. The controversy has split the...
But Aspinall, he and his dad, cool dudes, lovely guys as well. But he's the same height as me, if not an inch taller, but thick. And I was like, fuck, you're a lot thicker than I would expect. And the speed, that's the thing that I'm like, okay, that's the danger. But again, grappling, he's a black belt. Jon can...
That's different.
But I don't know, man. They got to fight. But if they don't ever fight, we'll never know.
I think hand speed. But what Jon does very well, and what we saw in the Stipe fight, is Jon will occupy your hands. So Stipe is one of his best weapons is always his jab. So you saw Jon switch to southpaw, lead hand occupy, which left Stipe with one punch, which was cross. So he was timing the cross to pull off, and then was at. I think when you break that fight down, I actually talked to Tom on Monday. We were kind of going back and forth a little bit on some of the game planning things. You can't be in that B range and just kind of get snake charmed by Jon. Let him grab your hands, let him dictate the pace, let him dictate the rhythm. You have to be hyper aggressive in those positions, and I think that's what Tom would have to do in that.
Problem for him, right? Because he has not been tested in that way. And you're getting up to elite status where you're calling out Jon Jones. Right? That's the boogeyman. Like, Jon Jones is the boogeyman, and maybe he hasn't died, but he's probably knocked on the door a couple of times. Like, what's going on, Death?
That's the only fight in my career where I've been almost close to 100%. And none of my injuries hurt, and I trained really hard where I was like overconfident. I thought I was going to beat the shit out of that kid. I really thought I was.
Is that the loss that hurts the most?
No, that's not the one that hurt the most. Jon Jones turned out to be like one of the best fighters in the world. He got me with one of my most weaknesses, rear naked choke. That's not the one that hurt me the most. My last fight's the one that hurt me the most.
You remember seeing that opening in that Chuck fight?
I remember in that fight, he kept hitting me with like his right hand. His right hand is crazy because usually I can tell what punch you're gonna throw or likely to throw just based on how your shoulder opens up when you're getting ready to swing, right? So I couldn't really tell what Chuck was throwing because it all kind of looked the same. So I couldn't tell which punch that he was going to throw with his right hand, but I knew his right hand was coming. So I was like, okay, so whenever he throws, I'm a throw. And it's called throw on throw. And I caught him with the right hand, and I was like, whoa, it was crazy.
I'm the best heavyweight in the world. Prove me wrong, Jon. If you think you are, prove me wrong. Simple, nothing personal. I ain't hating on nobody. I'm the best heavyweight in the world. If you think you are, let's settle it. Simple as that.
Stipe wins the fight or Jon Jones wins the fight, the way that both of those guys are wired, I think they fight Aspinall. So we'll see.
As far as retirement, the idea for me is to go out there and beat Stipe. How rude of us is it to just be completely looking past Stipe already? So the main goal is to get past Stipe. And if I can do it in a really dominant, devastating fashion, then the desire in my heart would be like, okay, now it's Alex Pereira. And if the UFC doesn't want that to happen, because ultimately it's the boss's decision, then it won't happen. And I'll just move on with my life. But that's one of the ways I look at it is, would you guys rather lose me or get one more super fight? And the only super fight that makes sense to me, not to everyone else, but to me and my team, is Alex Pereira.
Whether or not you would fight Tom Aspinall, whether you retire after this fight. I know we'd all love to see you keep going. How do you feel right now?
You know what? While I got the moment, while everybody's cheering and so happy, I want to acknowledge Jesus Christ. And I know that there's millions of people around the world watching right now. And I just want to let you guys know that Jesus loves you so much. That's all I'll say about that. And as far as my future in the octagon, I decided that maybe I will not retire. And that I have some conversations to have with Dana and Hunter, and we have some negotiating to do. And if everything goes right, maybe we'll give you guys what you want to see. I'm proud to be a great American champion. I'm proud to be a Christian American champion.
Aspinall and Curtis Blade fights the winner of Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic.
Absolutely.
You're calling out Jon Jones. Yeah. Right? That's the boogeyman. Like, Jon Jones is the fucking boogeyman. When he fought Gustafsson, he had almost no training camp. They said he barely showed up. Talked to Jackson about it. And Greg Jackson was he's like, he didn't even train for that fight. He pulled that fight off in the 4th and 5th rounds. That's when he really turned it up. So you're talking about a guy who hasn't even been training. And then you saw the real Jon Jones in the second fight. That's motivated.
I defended interim title. Yeah. Henan Brow defended it twice. If a situation arose, would you be prepared to defend that title again?
No, I ain't defending it again. I'm in a tough spot because Jon Jones is going to come back in a few months. So the Undisputed is going to be active. If the Undisputed is active, I should be fighting for the Undisputed next, and I won't move on that.
Obviously, you called out Jon Jones in the cage after the fight. Very respectful. Mm-hmm. Have you seen his message and response?
Yeah, I've seen it. Jon Jones still needs to sign an undotted line saying he's going to fight me. He can say whatever he wants. Saying stuff and doing stuff is completely different. So if you're watching, John, you're invited. Turn up, because I'll be there. If you sign up, I'll be there.
You also talk about like the activity you wanted to fight. The name that's been mentioned is Alex Pereira.
Yeah.
Is that a fight you actually think could happen?
If it's for the Undisputed title, yeah, I'll fight anybody. Fight anybody for the Undisputed title. That's what I deserve. I deserve to fight for the Undisputed title next. So that's going to be our next move for sure.
If Jon Jones had the chance of